A wall of water and wind struck the southeastern coast of China as Typhoon Podul pushed inland. What began as a violent crossing of southern Taiwan evolved into a broader crisis across East Asia, testing the resilience of millions, from small fishing villages to the crowded ports of Fujian Province. Podul's journey was unforgiving. Approaching Taiwan as a Category 2 typhoon, it brought sustained winds over 178 kilometers per hour, gusts nearing 192, and more than 445 millimeters of rain in just 24 hours in Pingtung County. Rivers burst their banks and landslides swept down soaked hillsides. An angler was killed after being swept to sea. Across the island, 115 people were injured and over 8,000 displaced. Nearly 310,000 households lost power, while schools, businesses and transport ground to a halt. Hundreds of flights were cancelled, ferry services suspended and major highways shut by flooding and debris. Taiwan's Central Emergency Operations Center called it one of the most disruptive typhoons in recent years. After crossing the Taiwan Strait, Podul struck Jianghu County, Fujian, as a severe tropical storm. Though weakened, it still unleashed winds of 109 kilometers per hour and rainfall exceeding 72 millimeters per hour. Streets in Fuzhou and Guangzhou turned into rivers, and low-lying neighborhoods flooded knee-deep. Coastal villages reported seawater intrusion as storm tides breached seawalls. Authorities evacuated 16,000 residents, sheltering them in schools, stadiums and government buildings. The Fujian Emergency Management Department deployed 2,010 rescue personnel. Over 210 flights were cancelled at Xiamen Gaoqi International Airport, while sections of the Fuzhou-Xiamen high-speed rail were shut due to landslide risks. Power outages darkened neighborhoods and collapsed towers cut off rural communications. The economic toll was severe. More than 3,000 hectares of farmland were submerged, fishing fleets stranded in harbors, and small manufacturers forced to halt operations. Recovery, local business groups warned, could take weeks or months. Further south, Guangdong Province evacuated 75,000 residents as Podul's outer bands triggered flash floods. In Guangxi, rivers swelled rapidly, forcing families onto rooftops until rescue boats arrived. Across the Pearl River Delta, one of the world's busiest economic zones, factories halted, trains stalled, and flights were cancelled. In Sichuan Province, far from the coast, the storm's torrential rains paralyzed Chengdu, where submerged streets and landslides cut off rural villages. In Hong Kong, the observatory issued its highest rainstorm signals. Winds reached Category 1 typhoon strength, forcing ferries to stop, subway lines to suspend, and schools to close. Families in high-rises stuffed towels in window frames as wind drove rain through cracks. Low-lying districts flooded while residents braced for landslides. Macau endured similar chaos. Over 110 millimeters of rain in a single hour flooded its historic center. Blackouts plunged districts into darkness, leaving only phone flashlights. Small businesses suffered devastating losses as waters carried away stock and equipment. Across affected provinces, national and local governments mobilized vast resources. China's Ministry of Finance allocated 430 million yuan in emergency funds for flood defenses and relief supplies, food, water, blankets, and generators. The Ministry of Emergency Management confirmed mass evacuations across multiple provinces and pledged both immediate aid and long-term rebuilding. Rescue crews, pre-positioned before the storm, enabled quicker responses. Firefighters waded chest-deep to pull children into boats, while medical teams treated the injured in makeshift shelters. The World Meteorological Organization, WMO, highlighted Podul as a case study in the importance of the Early Warnings for All initiative, aimed at ensuring every person globally is protected by life-saving warning systems by 2027. Authorities credited Taiwan and China's early drills and evacuation planning with saving lives. But Podul's devastation is part of a deeper truth. Asia is facing some of the world's most extreme climate impacts. According to the WMO, the region's temperatures are rising steadily. Oceans are warming to record levels, and heavy rainfall events are becoming more frequent and intense. These conditions, intensified by climate change, amplify the destructive force of tropical storms and worsen floods when they strike. Families clutching belongings as skies unleash fury. This is not a distant future. It is happening now, and it is happening more often. Podul, like so many recent storms, is both a natural disaster and a warning. Resilience depends not only on emergency response, but also on addressing the global climate crisis driving these extremes.